Okay, so we have the X5 up in there. Man, I do not feel like working on this thing at freaking all. Here's what we got going on. I sat outside. I was sitting in the shop for like 3 months. We started it up, pulled it outside, went to move it. The next morning, wouldn't freaking start. No crank, no start. Awesome, right? So this thing has 200 and I don't even know. 235,000 miles on it. 2001 E53 X5. This is 3.0, so it is an M54 engine. So I just got my little jump pack over there on the tray, put a little rod on it, grounded it, went all the way up in there at the starter, and touched on the solenoid end on both sides, and it won't start, it won't crank. Touched on the main starter motor part, and it cranks. So I'm about 99.9% sure the solenoid's out. And you can see we have the dipstick tube capped off. Here's what the deal with this thing is. Let me let it down, I'll show you. Okay, so to start off with, this is not a big money car, but it needs some big money, all right? It's the BMW story of its life. We have overall, the mice freaking chewed that up. That's cool. Overall, everything's good. It does need a passenger door handle because my mother seems to not be able to work the door handles right. That one's locked. And the back one it needs on the driver's side. Has a brand new Finalizing front driver's side on it because she broke that like 4 times. I did put control arms on this thing. It has brand new tires on it. We did brake pads here a while back. But this has the M56 valve cover swap. And this thing has been nothing but a leaky ass mess from day one. So it needs a plastic valve cover. This has the updated coil packs, so the push-in style coil packs. Bring this over here so you can see. And overall, it runs good. Like there's never any problem. This does have Euro 1 flash done, just like my 530 does. So it uses no oxygen sensors, no secondary air pump, has no codes, and overall makes good power. The all-wheel drive works good on it, everything works good on it. Now, I'm gonna have to pull the intake manifold off. I really gotta oil that door, it's getting on my nerves. I gotta pull the whole intake manifold off to get to the starter. There is no pulling that from underneath. I mean, maybe you can, but Jesus Christ, right? So this has, the CCV is deleted because the M56 valve cover. The PCV on this one's on top, but that's junk. That like leaks. You can see steam coming out from around that. That needs to be taken off and tossed in the trash. So we need a starter, which we have a starter on the parts car, right? It's like good to go. Do we even chance it? I might have a starter laying around here in one of the totes. I need to look through all my stuff and see. The valve cover on the parts car is the old style with the bolt-in coil packs. And the old style that likes to crack, so we can't use that. I found a new plastic valve cover for 150 bucks, just like our aftermarket one, with good reviews. It's 150. All right. The starter is questionable. If we got to buy one at that company doing the Japanese rebuilds is still in business on Amazon, I get one from them. They're like 75 bucks for a starter. So 150, questionable, 175 for a starter. Need a valve cover gasket. We can't put a cheap gasket in, gotta have a good gasket, so 30 bucks. It's 180 bucks just the valve cover. Then we need to buy PCV. I looked last night, I couldn't find a factory Febby Bilstein or anything like that PCV. That stuff almost doesn't exist. I could find a mediocre PCV that had good reviews for like 50 bucks, right? So we're looking at about 230 bucks and some time to put on this. Now this thing's already had Vanos rebuild done, O-rings redone. It's had all the disc valve redone and all that stuff. The throttle body boots are good on it, so we don't have to mess with that. 230 bucks. Here's the problem with this car. 230 bucks if we don't need to have to buy a starter, right? We're getting close to 300 bucks when you buy a starter. And this thing is due again for sway bar links because the last ones I put on didn't last very long. Those are probably 50 bucks. right? 350 bucks to do her all up right. Here's the issue. This is like a $900 car, maybe $1,000 at the most. So what do you know, what do you do with it at that point? If I do that, it'll be nice and reliable. I almost have to do all that, you almost have to ask more for it and get more out of it, but nobody's gonna pay more for it because it has that many miles. Like the interior, everything's all really good. Like really good. And you know, just kind of is what it is. I think she has some stupid cushion on the seat, but the seat's like perfect. The interior is all perfect. But it does do very well, very, very well. I'll drop my light. In the snow, in the rain, has downhill descent, all that stuff. I don't even know. It's already had the water pump, all the pulleys done. It's had that damn door. It's had OEM expansion tank done, OEM cap. It's had gates, upper and lower radiator hoses, all within the last 2 years. They have probably less than 20,000 miles on all that stuff, and it's had a new radiator put in it because it was leaking out of the seam. We did all that right before she got the X3. So there is that. Always kept up with everything else on it. It's probably due again for another oil change, which I mean, we might as well, right? And headlights need to be buffed again. That's not a problem. Everything else seems to be pretty straightforward on it. But what would you do? This is the situation at hand. What would you do? And am I going to spend 350 bucks on it? Well, I don't know. I mean, what the hell? How are you going to sell this thing the way it is? You can't. You can't really do that because, like, oh, here's this car. It doesn't freaking start. Good luck getting on the trailer, getting out of the shop. So the problem is, it's pretty much stuck in the lift till I fix the damn thing. It is Saturday, so I can't get PCVs or CCVs off of Prime. It'll probably be here Tuesday. So the run-of-the-mill situation on this would be to start disassembling today or tomorrow. It won't take me, but I've done this job so many freaking times. 30 minutes, I had the intake manifold off of this thing. And if I take the starter off the parts car, which is good, I gotta take the manifold off that too. Sweet. And that car's like full of mice. Big time. It's like the Mouse Hotel. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at with it. Do we need it as a second car? No, we don't need it here as a second car. There's so many second cars here and third cars and fourth cars and fifth cars. Like, some of this stuff just has to freaking go at this point. Too much. I also did order an IBS sensor for this. A new one, a new IBS. All it is the ground terminal with about a 7-inch, 8-inch lead on it. For OEM one was $254. Sweet, right? So we just got one from the parts, from the breakers or the scrap yard off eBay for like 50 bucks. Guaranteed good, right? Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Was I gonna spend 300 bucks on that? No. And you see the growing trend now. 300 bucks there, 1,000 bucks there, 300, 500, 100, thousands. And pretty soon, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's just all going out in parts. And, you know, I would like to buy new for that. Am I gonna keep the E90? No, I'm not. The E90, this X5, that blue E39, probably the black E39, all need to go. Those are not cars I keep making videos on. And so the black E39 is like good. Like really, it's been a great car. Probably needs struts for too much longer. They're just original. I see that one's leaking a little bit. It doesn't drive bad, drive it all the time. No problem at all. So that's the story with the X5. We're in a weird spot. Crap, I forgot to bid on that Copart car yesterday too. There was a 2013 X3 on Copart in St. Louis yesterday on auction. I totally forgot to freaking bid on it. But as you can see, there's so much joy here on fixing stuff. Some of this stuff's gonna just have to go for getting new stuff in. But on the list of things to get in is definitely something with N20 and N63. Maybe an N55. Those are the three engines I think would benefit the channel hugely coming up. Fortunately, this other stuff that we're not making videos on anymore or doing anything on must go. Must go. I don't know, just having a bad day or what's going on here. But I've been driving this car, I don't know, 8 months, maybe longer, no problem ever. So I just pull it, it's like a hill down here. Neighbor's dog's barking. I turn the wheel, backing out. It's like I've done 1,000 times. And this happened. It like rolled the fender up and like ruined the whole front fender. And it's like all dented in. Sweet. Oh, I love it. That's a good time right there. Interesting. Let's see if we can't bend her back out. Nah, that's messing with you. But is there even enough room to get that in there? Is not. Let me see what else we got. Not exactly a professional fender roller here, and nor do I know if this is going to work in the least bit. It's like so bent out, it's hard to even get it back. Oh, custom. You guys want your fenders custom rolled, don't call me, because this is what you're gonna get. Not half-ass job, full-ass job. All right, so we're back in line. I mean, we're not gonna get it perfect. I'm gonna try to push that back up in there so I don't freaking do it again. Let me go get that hammer again. It's like all creased in. I just don't think there's nothing here I have that's gonna fix that either. Yep. Do that. They're really gonna work. Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah. A little bit more right there. All the rest is totally flat. And we'll go a little further back just so we don't do it again. I think we're pretty much good. You can see that or not. Not really. That one's good. That one's good. We already checked this one, but we'll check it again. It's tucked in nicely. I don't know why I did that. So it's slightly poked out a little bit. In fact, the car's hot. I mean, that's really all we could do with it. We got it all crimped up where it's all essentially rolled, I guess. All right. Well, it did it. It did it, boys. It made it the trip. A little over an hour drive round trip with no problems at all. I'm real happy with the M5. It's finally not a total train wreck. It took probably every bit of we're probably right at $5,000 in just in parts only to get it where it's at right now. Oh. Thought I already broke it. So I think we're just down to pretty much a little bit of coating, a little bit of paint work. We already got the window regulator. That's all the feather goes down. I just need to throw that in. Probably tomorrow we're gonna do that. That shouldn't take just a few minutes. And this all set is supposed to be here Monday. Today's Saturday, and I hope we get this thing in there. Hope we get this thing in there next week, Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday or something, and get this exhaust done. And that's one big thing about this car that'll really make it. But everything else functions well. A little bit of funky stuff going on the front driver's side with that strut, but that strut had a little bit of oil leaking out of it, so it's due to be replaced. But for right now, I just want to be able to drive it a little bit. And this is the first time, today is the first time I've actually been able to drive this car normally and not have to have the laptop hooked to it to babysit it, not have to turn it off and back on to reset, check engine lights and half power, low power mode, and all this funky stuff. So we need to put on our list some decent license plate lights. Those need to be done. We also need to put on our list the corner markers, and we're not going to do the rear windshield trim when you take this off. We're not going to do this until we know for sure what the paint work's going to all entail. If they need to paint this part to blend it, I don't want to put any trim on it yet. We need to do that after they do that. So we'll kind of place things just right. I mean, overall, I was really, really happy with it. Could not be more tickled, really. The Vanos O-ring video coming up pretty soon. I don't want to take it back apart just exactly right yet. I'm still waiting on one more pulley to get here so we could just do all the pulleys with brand new stuff. Last time we couldn't do that. Everything wasn't here. So that's the situation with that. I think we're going to do on this real quick in closing. Swipe the starter from the parts car. I found the whole valve cover, new aftermarket valve cover with the gasket for $100, $99 free shipping. And then PCV, kind of a run of the mill. I can't justify putting OEM on here, but like I said, about 50 bucks. So I might be able to do this whole thing for like 150 bucks. 150 bucks is worth fixing it. So whoever does buy this thing can actually drive it and it functions well. Because we definitely don't want to sell something that's going to be breaking down, even if it is cheap. So this thing's stuck on the lift for right now until that stuff gets here, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Gonna be it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.